What up, gang? Alright, it's wine time. I haven't had any wine, so I'm probably going to be a little bit more peppy than I normally am at this point. In addition to that, I don't know if you've been checking out my Instagram, but I got an Instagram live that I have left available for the next 24 hours where I start talking about this meeting that I had to go to today. That I wasn't particularly looking forward to. Like, there were some bad vibes going on here. And what I know... Okay, so back up. Had the meeting. Bad vibes were had. It just wasn't, it was a situation in which bad vibes were really trying to affect me. Okay, and I'm not going to go into detail because I am a professional, all right? Unlike some of the other people in the meeting. And so the bad vibes were had, okay? So after a bad vibey situation, you're left feeling this kind of tumultuous inner kind of tumult where it's like you replay every instance. You're like, did I do this right? Did I do that right? I wasn't controlling my emotions well enough at this point here. Where you kind of go back and you analyze and you attempt, you analyze, you do the 4 A's, my 4 A's. You analyze, adjust, you attempt, analyze, adjust, again. And you do it again. Now, I don't want to do this again. I'm not planning on having another one of these meetings. I think it's the last time I'm probably going to ever see these people, which is fine. That's cool. But the thing is, you stick with it and you persevere. And I've been listening to Dana Wilde today because I'm going to be going on on Dana Wilde's show, The Mind Aware, on the 24th of August. Woo! Dana Wilde. Love Dana Wilde. So it's going to be the Dana and Danny Power Hour, except it's going to be like 15 minutes. So definitely tune into that, all right? It's going to be a Facebook Live thing too, so go find Dana on Facebook, all right? I've been listening to her, and I've been listening to a lot of the stuff about her book, which is called Train Your Brain, which if you haven't read it yet, you need to go and read it. But I just wanted to brush up on her to kind of re-get to know Dana on a professional level, because I want to be able to, talk to her, wax intellectual. If you're going to be in a meeting with somebody, as I will be, with Dana, then, know something about that person. Know something about who you're dealing with. And I just got so much good out of it. She's got this kind of but method, okay? Where you start using the word but in a much more empowering way. Because what I could have been saying is, I didn't do this right, I didn't do that right, and they had the upper hand here, and I wasn't controlling myself here, and I wasn't emotionally in control, and I was unprofessional here, and I should have done that. And that's all well and good, except in order that just essentially leaves you in a negative headspace. And when you're in a negative headspace, as Dana says, you're not going to make the right decision. You're not going to turn anything into gold. It's going to turn basically whatever you touch into shit, because you're not in a good headspace. Whereas when you're in a great headspace, when you're on fire, when you're feeling good, feeling happy, in a high vibrational state, then that's when you've got whoo, the world is going your way. It's sunshine, roses galore, okay? So she says to use the word but in a much more empowering way. So I could have said, I wasn't in control of my emotions here, but... And then you go on and you talk about why it's a good thing. I wasn't in control of my emotions here, but I really handled it well, and I'm getting better and better at controlling my emotions, especially in a high tension scenario like the one that I was just in. I wasn't good. What was another one? It was mostly about that. That was mostly my issue with myself, is that I didn't control my emotions well enough at a very particular point. So that's what I was coming down hard on myself about. But that actually doesn't do you any good. You have to turn that around, and you have to tell yourself a different story about whatever way in which you behaved, because your behavior is based upon your feelings, and your feelings is based upon your thoughts. Okay, so you just need to kind of roll back the clock, and then once you've behaved in a certain way, you can't change that. So now you just have to tell yourself a different story in order to interpret what you did in a much more positive light, because otherwise you'll get into, what did she call it, the perpetual cycle of something, where you feel a certain way, you behave in a certain way, and then that reinforces your own belief so that you feel that way again, and then you behave that way again, and that further reinforces. So you just need to start going around the circle like this, and then when you get past behavior, when you get to the end of your behavior, where you could perceive that as a negative, you've got to reinterpret it and say, well, this is the way I want to interpret my behavior, but instead of going around this way, I'm going to go around that way, and I'm going to interpret it in a different way. So I found that so helpful. So seriously, go and check out Dana Wilde's Train Your Brain. She's got heaps of training material out there. She is a whiz, total type 1, and I love the shit out of her. Pardon my French. But seriously, go and check her out, and I want you to listen to the Dana Wilde podcast where I am on. You can go to the Mind Aware and subscribe there. That way you know for definite sure when it's going to be coming up. Okay? Adios!